Biodiversity has assumed the center stage again in the context of the pandemics that have come today. The pandemics that is occurring in the last 10 years, like SARS, H1N1, and currently the COVID-19, has again brought back the biodiversity to discussion of the mainstream. Why biodiversity is important? We all know about the ecosystem services of biodiversity that is being played, and we all understand how they are very, very important in terms of human livelihood and human life support. And today, another two ecosystem services have come into a major important, and in terms of especially containing pandemics. How do they contain pandemics? How biodiversity is related to in containing pandemics? If you look at the biodiversity is something that plays a very crucial role in containing the pathogens and the vectors that spread the pathogen, especially the animals. Because the biodiversity around us so far has been a good host to most of these pathogenic organisms and also to the organisms that are playing vectors. See, for example, we already have an understanding how malaria has developed and how malaria has spread in the last centuries, last few centuries so fast. And there is an evidence that malaria has spread because the loss of biodiversity. When we started cutting down forest, the open areas have become breeding ground for mosquitoes, especially the water that is stored as pools and puddles. And this is the main reason for spreading of malaria, and also human cultures going close to the forest by way of farming. So likewise, the moment we go close to the wild biodiversity, whether it is mosquitoes or whether it is bats, whether it is animals, or even farming of cattle, anthrax is one other example, how it has come into the midst of human beings as a pathogen. The point about these pathogens is when they cross over the organismal barriers, they behave very badly, and they become probably lethal also. That's how we have been suffering for many of these pandemics. And that is why having biodiversity around shields these pathogens from coming close to us. That's the major ecosystem service biodiversity renders. The other ecosystem service is the host, particularly the vectors, whether it is bats or birds or anything, the vectors. Currently, of course, we have been talking about bats, though it is not wholly true. But still, whatever vectors that we are talking about, the vectors are contained by the biodiversity in the forest or in and around surrounding biodiversity itself. So they do not come into close contact with human beings. So having biodiversity around us, and especially around villages and urban areas and wherever we live, this contains the vectors that spread the pathogens. So in that way also, biodiversity become very important today. Another angle from which we can look at biodiversity is the biodiversity has the solutions for it. In fact, this year the theme of the Biodiversity Day celebration is our solutions lie in nature. So that means nature has lots of solutions for all our problems, and whether it is a virus or anything else, biodiversity has solutions. In fact, if you look at most of the medicines that are being talked about, except the allopathic medicines, they are like ginger, lemon, or probably any other immune boosting substances that are traditionally known to us for quite long centuries. This is what probably we have been delivering it to the patients, either in Tamil Nadu or elsewhere, anywhere else. And in fact, Ayush department has come up with a very good document how the traditional medicines that have been described in traditional texts can be very useful in tackling these diseases. So the biodiversity also has solutions to tackle the pandemics. In all these ways, biodiversity is more important for conservation. And it is time for us to think about priorities that we have before us. Whether it is going to be development, ruthless development by destroying biodiversity, or whether it is going to be a kind of balanced and meaningful development where we include biodiversity within the context of development. So this is going to be our issue today, and every government, every citizen has to think and act towards this goal.